Holla ballers! What's going on? It's Preacher. It's time for our final countdown as Warlords of Draenor is about to drop what I think is going to be the most fun out of the melee DPS over the course of this expansion. That is what we're looking at. How are you going to be rolling? Not in the first couple of months, but over potentially the next couple of years based on MOP. So, as always, this is my personal opinion. Something has to be last. Some people like those, that's fine. Just generally because I play every single spec, I have that opportunity that I can give some insight into what I feel is going to be long-term, something you want to log in on every single night and kick some ass with. Without further ado, in at number 1, the Ret! Yes, the golden boy of my WoD experience so far, all through alpha, all through beta, and on live. My god, have I had fun with this thing. Then you rock into the level 100s, and then you get your PvE set bonuses, and you enter Proc Mania, and it's all good. They synergize so fucking well together, my god. It all works into a big clusterfuck of just joy and happiness. And every time I play my Ret, I just have an absolute blast with it. Also bringing with it huge amounts of utility. The hands of freedom, the hands of sacrifices, the whatever you want to call them, the lay on hands, all that stuff. Divine protection, can't kill me. Oh, so good. So good. And that's an absolute blast with it. My only even downside to it would possibly be seal swapping. Yeah, still a big bummerino. I happen to think the Seraphim is going to become exceptionally good. Templar's final verdict, I should say, works exceptionally well as a beginner. I do worry about the seal twisting. It's something we could get used to, but I actually think it's probably going to get changed at some point because it sucks. Sucks so bad. Number 2. My choice, my main for all of Warlords of Draenor. Decided, signed, sealed, delivered. It's the Roguey Rogue. All 3 specs. Yes, indeed. Absolutely fantastic. So much utility. Loving every aspect of the Rogue in all ways. A lot of people complain that I didn't do an exceptionally long final look at the Rogue. That's because not a great deal has actually changed. They had the ability pruning, which I actually think a lot of it was pure common sense and was really happy with. Not only that, but they didn't lose some of the edge that I thought they had coming towards the end of Mr. Pandaria. I made a video regarding how powerful the Rogue could be in Warlords of Draenor if they were left as they were. They have been. Something very, very nice. As somebody who wants to bring a lot of extra to the raid, the Rogue offers me that. I bring my utility in forms of smoke bombs, my shadow steps to get up there. I can remove enrages. I can do all sorts of crazy stuff when needed and survive on my own for a great deal of time. Which gives great opportunity. I have the option for huge burst via sub, lots of cleave via combat, and some straight up single target goodness and good cleave with assassination. All 3 specs are really nice to me. I enjoy them all, which means that if one becomes more powerful, I'm going to be happy with it, and that's nothing to complain about in my opinion. A lot of the rogues still feel they're a bit stale. I get that. They didn't receive any great overhaul as some rogues who've been playing them for years and years. I get that completely, but as a solid all-round class, they're absolutely fantastic. They just meet the expectations of every single man, boy, and child, and therefore the Rogue rocks in at number 2 for me. Rocking in at 3, though, the Death Knight. Yes, the Death Knight. I would have maybe. The only reason I discounted the DK for my personal flair was because, simply put, I've already achieved everything I want to achieve with a Death Knight, but they're still one of the most enjoyable classes in my arsenal, one I absolutely love to play. However, personal side, I'm very sort of losing my faith in Frost as being any kind of fun, especially comparative to Unholy, which I think is the godsend of the DK specs, and is what my DK will be staying at for as long as I can possibly keep him there. My DK loves Unholy. I enjoy playing Unholy, and of course we have these niche abilities, the Gorfiend's Grasp, all that kind of stuff, the Remorseless Winter, which every now and again these encounters pop up and the DK just answers in kind. There is nothing Blizzard can throw at a Death Knight, and the Death Knight cannot answer the question. And that's something I think you always need to bear in mind as a melee specifically, is melee unfriendly is a thing that flies around quite a lot. The DK is almost immune to that. Heavy magical damage going on here, not a problem. I'm a DK, it's fine. All this kind of stuff happening. Can you put out some ranged DPS? Yes, I can. If it's going to be a heavily ranged boss, as far as melee goes, I'm one of the top tier guys, basically. And all that kind of stuff works to synergize into some wonderful class. My only downside, again, is Frost. I'm tired of Frost now. That's it. I'm just tired of Frost. It's very simple. It achieves great and wonderful things, but the way it does it leaves something to be desired. It's very easy to set up, and it's basically playing itself in some regards. It's not hard to say, oh, I'm AoE here. I'm going to Howling Blast. And that doesn't require much thought to actually get ready and make that happen. At number 4, the Enhancement Shaman. My God, the Enhancement Shaman. That spec that I gave a lot of crap to Mists of Pandaria, but with the melee slowdown that's occurred over the course of Warlords of Draenor, it's happened to many classes. They've had the slowdown and increase in downtime. The Enhancement Shaman has not had that happen. And somebody who likes pace, I love pace, it's been tweaked just enough to make it a really nice flowing spec. It has great moments where it's just stand out above the rest, especially in AoE. I'm sure many of your enhancements now are just like, wow, my AoE is outrageously good. I was glad to see that the early beta, which focused so heavily on Lightning Bolt, got tweaked back to a more well-rounded spec. If this would have been how it was early beta, it would have been certainly one of the bottom of the list, considering we have the ability to put out so many different spells, so many different utilities, so many different tricks and traits, and most of them were useless in comparison to just Lightning Bolt, which was pretty sad for a melee class in my opinion. But then it brought it back. Blizzard retweaked it, brought Lightning Bolt back into the fold, and then, and by proxy, brought the rest of the spells back into the fold, making you a really nice, well-rounded class. And plus, again, utility is there in spades. Doesn't always translate well into raids, which is why it's slightly less than the others, but still, in the options where 5-mans are going to be more involved, heroics and challenge modes and that kind of stuff, a Shaman is just absolutely awesome, especially with the amount of purging and stuff we can do now. Right then, number five. It's a little bit sad for me to say this because I love this spec, is the Monkey Monk. The Monkey Monk. I don't know. If I could picture the future and see what we will be like in maybe a next tier of raiding, or even the tier after that, as to how the Monk will play then, my list might be very, very different. But as it stands right now, the Monk is just far too slow for me. Really is too slow. I get it. I understand it. I know how it works. I get the entire focus on setting up to make sure that your big, hard-hitting abilities hit and land perfectly. I get that the Monk is very, very well suited. Very well suited to Warlords of Draenor encounters, especially as there's very little in the way of a straight-up patchwork situation. Lots of stuff coming from Storm, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I get it. I just don't like it as much as I used to at all, and it really saddens me because it works really well. The design of it is absolutely as it should be. It's what Blizzard wanted it to be. Huge setups, things like Chi Explosion, which are savoured and used at the right point, which create enormous amounts of fun, and I just don't personally like it. As a melee player, slowdown is something I'm not particularly fond of. I like fast-paced melee combat. It's one of the things that attracts me to melee. And the slight hit that Monk got, and it's not immense, but it does exist, really dropped down the list for me. As much as I understand it, and I get it, and a lot of players will like it, it's not for me. It's not for me, and that's quite sad, because the Windwalker Monk was one of my favourites in Mists of Pandaria, which is a little bit sad. Which leaves no suspicion as to what I have rated last, and I'm sure none of you are surprised by any means. The Feral Druid. Yeah, the Feral Druid. Recent sims show this as actually rocking about a 50% downtime in combat, and I find that absolutely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. And as much as I got bashed in my final look for the guys who were playing Mists of Pandaria and then watched what I said about the Feral on beta, that has come full circle now with people coming in contact and saying, is this right? It's always interesting for me to see was when I'm playing a piece of content that you guys don't have access to, and I'll say, hey, you know what? I don't like this. This feels much worse than it does on live. And they'll be like, no, Feral's fine. It always starts that way in expansion, blah, 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 blah. And then they come to play it themselves, and they're like, whoa. What happened here? You know what I mean? I didn't quite agree with you at first, but shit, this is starting to look pretty bad. And again, it's one of those maybe 3 tiers down the line, it might look good. I'm not willing to wait that long, certainly with a main. And 50%-ish downtime, I'm not okay with. I'm not comfortable with spending half my in-combat time not doing anything. And that's what's going to maximize my play. That to me just does not work out at all. Which is sad because Feral has the potential. And that's what we've always got to remember. The Feral has the absolute potential to be amazingly fun. I find a lot of the talents hypocritical. We talked about it in the final looks again. The fact that cats don't get charge, as standard, or cat leap. I mean, we're a cat. We're a freaking cat. Why can't we do that? There are lots of things that a cat, by its very nature, should be able to do that we cannot do, or they're buried below talents that don't make a lot of sense. And the talent system overall for Feral is really shitty, in my opinion. Very, very shitty. Lots of stuff that was given to us in Mists of Pandaria moved over to the talent system in Warlords of Draenor, and it's like, well, we're not getting anything new. The stuff that we had is now in talents instead of just that we had it previously. That's not exciting. That's not interesting, because I've already had that in the past by proxy, and now you're making me choose to have it again. it feels very lackluster. It feels very clumsy. It feels like it's not had much imagination thrown at it or creativity, and as such, I had to put it last. That's in my personal opinion. All right, guys, there's the melee DPS for you. I hope that helps with your final decisions. Good luck in Warlords of Draenor. I'm sure you're aware I'm currently away at BlizzCon. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. And good hunting. Bye-bye.